Do you have mucus in your poop? I'm going to show you what's causing it and how to fix it. So the cause of this is your intestines are going in and out of overdrive, which is causing it to produce more mucus, which is caused by a traumatic event that catches us off guard. If more mucus is getting produced in the small intestine, this normally gets reabsorbed by the small intestine and we won't see it in our stool. So when we're seeing a lot of mucus in the stool, like especially if you're pooping pure mucus, it's coming from this part and down of the colon. So the descending and sigmoid in the parietal region. When you're seeing a lot of mucus in your stool, it's coming from those regions. So if we zoom in on what's happening in the colon, during the conflict active phase, if we experience it, I can't absorb this important thing to my survival, we get a flat growth. And when you look at a colonoscopy, it's going to be like just super inflamed everywhere. So when we see that, it's what couldn't I absorb? What did I want to absorb but I couldn't? But if we're seeing lots of polyps, these secrete extra digestive juices, and the conflict for that is what is crap I wanted to break down, but I couldn't. And when the conflict gets resolved, the body gets rid of these high maintenance cells and a lot of mucus will show up in the stool. So when the conflict is constantly on and off, on and off, on and off, the cell proliferation and cell removal goes on and on and on, and we end up having a ton of mucus in our stool. So if there's streaks running up and down the poop like this, it could be caused by hemorrhoids or an anal fissure. For women, this is caused mainly by an identity conflict. And for men, it could be an identity conflict or a territorial anger conflict. And it kind of stems, the root of it is like from childhood trauma. And if the mucus keeps on coming back, we haven't resolved this conflict on a conscious and mainly subconscious level. We really take the subconscious mind for granted. The subconscious mind does 99.9% of the functions in our body. What's the best way to treat this? So there are things you can do for like hemorrhoids. You can rub things on them to nourish them and whatnot. But what's driving the body to change is the conflict. This is the treatment. This is the treatment. It is to find the conflict that put whatever part of your body into overdrive, whether it's the colon or the rectum surface mucosa. We need to find it. That is part of the cure. It is part of the treatment. It is sitting down with pen and paper and working out. It takes a little time and it feels inconvenient, but it's taking the time to, okay, oh, my hemorrhoid was really bad during a breakup. Oh, during all my breakups, my hemorrhoids are bad. Every time I graduate school, my hemorrhoids are bad. When did the hemorrhoids we need to try to find a pattern in when did the hemorrhoids first start to show up? When did the mucus in the stool first start to show up? And what was stressing me out at that time? That is step number one. And it's probably being suppressed. We're going to have to do some digging for it. Now, I have a free webinar where I guide you through those steps, where I show you how to dig for these old memories. But my ultimate tool for doing this is my 13-day protocol. It asks your brains the right questions to start coughing up this information. And a lot of the times, just finding that conflict can stop the symptoms, or at least cut them in half. And then deal with the PTSD triggers, which I go into more detail in my free webinar.